Through trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. Your spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land where you grace.
You are welcome to the Bottomline Liberia.
And yes, indeed, this is the Bottomline Liberia discussions. We come to you every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday of the week. Here we discuss the issues, we give our views, we see it from different perspectives, and we say exactly what we know. But tonight is going to be very interesting. The fact that we're going to have, or we already have, a guest, and this guest might just remain here with us on the Bottomline Liberia whenever he wants to. The platform will be open to him. And so we let you first of all say welcome to our guest, Mr. Sese, or Reverend Dr. Sese Gwibugi Bade. He's from the United States of America, or Liberian for that matter. And also Paul the Lord Chilpe is here, and probably Francis Mensah will be joining us during the course of the discussions. But let me say welcome to you, gentlemen, and this is a Bottomline Liberia discussion. So, Paul, you want to welcome our guest tonight and just give your own intro.
Yeah, thank you, Liv, and good evening to everyone, to our viewers. Good evening, Reverend Dr. Sese Bade. It's good to have you on the Bottomline discussion tonight. Welcome to the program. This is a program that will have our own open mind, our own view. We see things from different perspectives. Welcome to the show, and it's great to have you here tonight.
Thank you. Lord Chilpe, I'm very delighted to be here. Let me extend greetings to our brothers and sisters in London. I know you are around 8:17, 8:19 London time. And to the brothers and sisters in Norway, Norwegian time is about an hour ahead, so it should be about 9:19. I'm about 4:19 p.m. here on the East Coast in Western Pennsylvania. I greet you, my brothers and sisters from around the world. Those of our brothers and sisters who are joining us in Liberia and other parts, we want to welcome them. It's good to be here. This is my first time being on your show, and I'm looking forward to having a very festive engagement. And it's also about 8:20 in Liberia, 8 p.m. What a great opportunity it is. The season that we find ourselves in, Lent for us Christians is the season of prayer, is the season of supplication, is the season of renewal, is the season of contemplation, a season that we do considerable level of almsgiving, giving out to the poor, to the weak, to the vulnerable, to the meek. Is a season we speak for the voiceless. As a United Methodist pastor, minister, or an ambassador of the Wesleyan tradition, in this time of year, we are quite busy with Lent, and Easter is upon us. When that glorious morning, when the trumpet sound and Christ will be raised. And it reminds us of who Christ is and what Christ has done for us. So it's just a considerable busy season for us as we joining from the 40 days of contemplation, which is during the season of Lent, and then we go into the glorious celebration of Easter all around the world. We want to greet all of our brothers and sisters wherever you are, those in the United States. It's truly a blessing to be here, and my brother who sits there in Norway is someone I haven't seen in 30 years. We were just talking behind the scene, behind the stage before we came on the air. So it's truly a blessing to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Susie. And for those of you just joining us, we ask that you share the show. We're going to, of course, take our musical break, at which time we give the opportunity maybe to grab a cup of coffee and sit with us here for the next 2 hours. And Zizi is a Reverend doctor now, and but when we knew each other, we were very young boys, working as journalists, and we did a lot of work, and so I mean, when he's talking, if like I could let him talk for me, just flow for me, so. And this is something that we have hands on. We did it every day of our life. And so welcome, sit tight, and you're going to enjoy the show tonight. So we're going to take a quick musical break. And then while the music is playing or while our interlude of music is on, you can share the show, you can take your seat, and we'll come back. Then, but Paul, you just want to let our public, our viewers know some of the things that we'll be discussing tonight so that we'll not take them by surprise. And when we come back, they'll already know, they'll have an idea.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Linfa. And let me once again say welcome to Dr. Reverend Dr. Kwade on the show. Tonight we'll be looking at Mama Liberia. The situation in Guinea is quite concerning. The question here is, the Guineans who refuse to leave, are they going to take the whole of Lofa County? We have the Reverend Doctor here. He's from Lofa, so will be that, and he's a former journalist as well. We'll be looking at that. Tewon Gonglo said something about the situation regarding the incident in Lofa. So we'll play Tewon clip and see what Tewon said. The information minister says something that is quite provocative as well. We'll be looking at that. Then we'll move on to the international scene. The end will end with America. It's the emperor about to fall. The other emperor, the Greeks, the British, the Roman, it's still the time that America fall. We'll be diving into it. And we'll have video evidence on that. So that will be the discussion for tonight. And want you all to kindly share the show. It will be firing tonight. Will Lofa County be part of Liberia by the end of this year? That's the question. And we need your support. We need your answer. Because the way things are, our brothers, our Loma brothers and sisters may not have them on the map anymore. What the government going to do about that? This is the big question that everyone is asking. Will Lofa County be part of Liberia? Join us and share the show. Linfa.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. And we're going to take our quick musical break. We'll come back and we'll be going deeply into our discussions.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta whip us some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people who us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us. you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not.
Through trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. The spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land where you grace.
You are welcome to the Bottomline Liberia.
You are watching the review of Liberian newspapers' headlines that made news during the week on the Bottomline Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
Okay, welcome. And I know it's going to be fiery tonight because a lot of people are already coming in, and the discussions will be interesting. So once again, welcome. If you're watching us from Liberia, we ask that you share the show on your personal platform, so that we can have people watching us. We are streaming on YouTube as well as on our Facebook page and our individual pages as well. So you have people watching, but you can't see them on the main dashboard here because the people you see here, they are only logging on the Bottomline Facebook page. But I got a lot. I don't know how many people I got here now on my own page, on myself. So that's going to be interesting tonight, and so we'll give it our all. All right, gentlemen, let me say welcome again once more to Cece and to Paul. But Paul, you see, you talk about Lofa County, and when you mention Lofa County, something comes to my mind. There are few counties in Liberia, right, that the citizens can depend on in terms of food production, in terms of several other things, culture and the rest of it. And those counties, Lofa is one of them. Bon, Nima, and I think Grand Cape Mount, those are counties that Liberians can depend on. The other counties around the central part of the country, including Monserralo County, Magdi, yes, they have their own, way of contributing to the society as a whole. But countries that I just mentioned, Lofa, Nima, Bon, I remember during the wartime, those were countries that were supplying food when Monrovia was starving. So a lot of people know the importance of those countries. Not that all countries are not important, but like I said, every country in Liberia has its own way of contributing to the economy, to the society as a whole, and every other thing. But we woke up a couple of days ago, probably almost a week and a half or two like that, and we heard that Guinean soldiers were making some, sinister moves on our land, especially on our other border from the Lofa side. And this thing dragged on to the point where they even have to cross to come and plant their flag on Liberian side of the border because it's just a little water that is dividing that part of the country from Guinea. And the citizens there, they stood up through their citizens' action. They stood up and the Guineans left. I'm just giving you a background, right? They left and went, and then they came by the second day, and there were some scuffles, and we heard that they even shot somebody in the leg or something like that. And the government of Liberia had to send the PSU or some group they sent there, and then the president himself had to go to Guinea, and they had some discussions with the other Monrovia Union leaders. So this is how far we have come. But I don't know if there is any new development after the president's effort to go to Guinea, whether you have heard anything new or whether you have any new information. And we'll also be getting the I mean, this side of the story because by way of introduction, he's also from Lofa County. So I think if anything in Lofa, he should be concerned. So let me say welcome to you guys, the both of you. And Paul, I want to start with you. What have you heard since the president's visit to Guinea and back to Liberia? Has there been any new development at the border?
Well, the thing is, it's quite shocking to start with. I want to say good evening to our viewers as well. Can they share the show? The president and Emmanuel Bill went to meet the Guinean president. But on his way back to Liberia, the Guinean decided to deploy thousands of men, their troops, in Liberia. So I think it was the slap in the face of our president because he went there. The fact is that Guinea crossed the border, planted their flag, took it back. The president took upon himself, went to Guinea. On his way back, they decided to do the obvious. So what does that tell you? And since then, they have not left. They stay on the soil. So the question is, what are we going to do? What is Liberia going to do? Are we going to sit down for this guy to take Lofa County because it looks like the more time that they spend, it's going to cost Liberia because it will embolden them more that, oh, these people cannot do anything to get out of here. So why is this long that somebody will come into my house and refuse to leave my house? Whether I did something to him on the outside. This is where we are. And we keep hearing the things say, oh, there's diplomatic talk going on. But the fact is, sometimes it's good that you guys been journalists before. You also what happened in the world. And at times, if a man enter your house, you have to take a bold step, whether you can beat him or you can't beat him, but you need to do something to get that person out. The more the person stay, it will embolden them that they will not want to leave. So this is where we are. So Lofa County, my question here to everybody, because the Guineans are showing something now, they deploy a lot of over 2,000 troops over there. And on the other side, Liberia side, we only see a few handful of people and journalists. Will this problem be resolved? We don't know. Will Guinea take that part of Lofa? That is the big question. The government need to answer it. And this is why confusing everyone. What's going wrong? Who's in the fault here? Even if Liberia did something, but what gave Guinea the right to come and settle in Lofa County? And we're not doing anything about it. We say we're being diplomatic about the whole thing. And this is how I see. And let me just conclude on this before the brother comes. If we're not careful, by the end of this year, getting to December, Lofa County will no longer be part of Liberia if we're not careful. So, Doctor, this is a situation that we face with our brothers and sisters from Lofa County. They will not be part of the 16th tribe if we don't do something quick.
Before they come here, no, this is man of God. So I know you bring a prayer business, more pray.
But
prayer cannot do nothing. We got to act.
Leave you muted.
Oh, am I muted? No.
No, I think I can hear Linfa. I don't know. You not hearing him, brother Chilople?
I mean, you go off and come back. Paul, go off and come back.
All right. Okay. Well, you know, I think the sub-region is in a very challenging situation. I remember very vividly that a revolutionary led Guinea when we were just kids.
Okay.
Akman
So it's coming from me.
Yeah, I think Brother Chilople is.
I'll get out and come back.
Yeah.
I mean, we can hear you. So, Guinea is politically in a very challenging situation as we speak. The military junta forced its way into politics. And we are all, keen observers of West African politics and African politics. The military most times would come to power in the past. Dumbuya was a military man. Now he has jumped into a civilian uniform. But even when he walks, how he talks, we still see that posture. So, I mean, from my experience covering war, you and I, Linford, many, many, many years ago, I think the situation in Liberia and at the border with Guinea, the northern side of the country, is a very challenging situation, and that it's going to take considerable level of maturity to be able to bring a peaceful resolution to what is happening. So some people may think that the president is slow, but Linfo, we have had war. We have had experience of war, the devastation it has created, the many challenges it brought on many of us, all of us, in many ways, were affected by the war. We've lived outside of Liberia for quite some time, for several decades now. And it is because of that particular situation. Violence, to me, as a minister of the gospel, is not the answer. I think the government strategically, President Borkai, is taking the rightful steps. It's going to take wisdom. It's going to take experience. It's going to take some level of collaboration, because Liberia is not the first. Similar incident occurred, I think, a couple of times with Sierra Leone. So I know that brothers and sisters who live, Kingsmen, more historically and interestingly, live on both sides of the border. Where this event is taking place right now within the Foya district area. There are Guineans who are involved not only in business, in trade, and agriculture, in getting food, and intermarriages historically have taken place, and even up to the present moment as we speak. So I want to, say that President Borkai is taking the rightful steps, consulting, engaging. It even appears as if Dumbuya himself is not in control of what's happening in Guinea. And politically, I have been in consultation with many of those Guineans who live in Guinea and many who live abroad. There is a political tension brewing in Guinea with the level of the way Dumbuya came to power and some of the strategies that he's employing to probably maintain power. He has silenced all opposition in Guinea. So that is a very challenging situation. So I do not know why Liberia, a doyen of African independence, that has been historically all along the way in the defense of freedom for all of not only our neighbors, but as far as, the giants of Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, and the list is long. You could go on counting Ghana, So, I mean, what I think we need to give peace a chance.
Okay, but
I don't think any of us will want to go to war.
you repeatedly mention,
Yeah.
maturity, or peaceful resolution to this, what seemingly looks like a crisis. But the question is, how long can one exercise maturity, patience? Because when this thing happened, the government did not react right away. It was the civilians who stood their grounds, and
Mm-hmm.
I think some semblance of, you know, peace came in, and the Guineans returned.
Yeah.
And then they came back again the second time, and in fact planted their pole in huge number. And there are pictures or video where Dumuya himself, is he called Dumuya? I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name.
Yeah. Yeah. Dumuya is.
Dumuya. So he himself was giving command to the soldiers, dispatching them at the border. And that was the time the president was supposed to be going to Guinea, along with Marapio. And in the face of all of that, they went, they discussed, uh, and then as we speak, the news is saying that there is a heavy presence of Guinean soldiers at the border. So the question we Liberians will be asking: how long can we be patient? How long can maturity work? Whereas the president has exercised so much patience. Is it that we are weak? Are we exercising maturity because we are weak? Is it that we just can't make it? Because the reason I'm asking this question, there are several reasons to be afraid
Mm-hmm.
at the border of Guinea with
Yeah.
Liberia. We are seeing two different major incursions coming from that place. Okay, we saw the
Yeah.
Ulimo War. During the Ulimo
Yeah.
War,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ulimoki grew up in Guinea and crossed the border and
Yeah.
joined the Ulimochi in Sierra Leone. Then during I think the one, I was not in Liberia at the time, the one they called the World War III, we
Yeah.
also saw a group called LERD that came from
Yes.
that same border.
That came from the same border.
So one has all reasons to be afraid when you see the huge presence of soldiers. This time they are not Liberians coming to fight Liberians, but they are Guineans who are crossing. We don't know their intention, coming to take land, occupy. So, do you think we should continue exercising maturity, or
Uh, yeah. Let me respond in this way. Uh, Sir Winston Churchill was right. Joy is better than war. War is a very challenging proposition. You and I know what the Liberian experience was.
Hmm.
You and I know the devastation that it has created. You and I know the trauma associated with the Liberian experience. You and I know the violence that ensued in the land that created havoc and brought displacement, lynching, killings, abuse of women, girls, and boys, mothers. So we know what war is. And as the president stated in his nation address that I listened to just yesterday, uh, I think diplomacy is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. And that's why in my initial statement, I stressed that it was important for wisdom and experience to be a part of this particular conversation. And I know Guinea, to some level, is trying to push us or trying to take advantage of the current situation that we have. What I think the government must do, it has to do, and must ensure that it's done as this diplomatic effort is underway, as efforts are being made to quiet down the tension. The Guineans are still on the border, irrespective of whatever agreement that was signed in Conakry. So it goes to tell us that there must be something beneath the political rhythm that we are not seeing But I said that Doumbouya is quite immature. I think Doumbouya is quite afraid of his own political demise in Guinea. The opposition is swift with the banning of all political activities. They are taking a radical stand, and I'm afraid if the situation is not handled properly, Guinea will explode. That political tension is already there. All right. And what I think he's trying to do to some level maybe is to distract, to create a situation in which the country will be armed. The country is already armed. I'm talking about Guinea. Guinea is armed to the teeth. What I think we need to do as a nation, and this is going to be my appeal to President Boakai and those who are in the legislature, the Senate, and the representatives, Liberia come first. Liberia must return to the age of morality. People must understand that even our national army must be equipped. Fundings must be made available to ensure that we take care of our own national security.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from a war experience, there can be no lapses in that. And I think that's where the weakness is. But you cannot solve this situation as it exists because, the sound of physics. If you push one, the other, you get a feedback in terms of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to take the model of Sir Winston Churchill to know that George is better than War, and it does not mean that we are stupid. It does not mean we are weak. But I think we are exercising the wisdom of Solomon to know fully well that war is not the answer, because to start war is not hard. As we sit here, there's a war going on that was started by Mr. Trump. He's challenged and he's going through difficulties. He doesn't know how to end it. You sit in Europe. The appeal is he thinks he can just get up one morning and tell the brothers and sisters in NATO, you have to go to, all right, you have to get involved in this crisis. And we know how difficult that is. We know the economic constraints that is imposing on all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So the hardest thing is to throw a bomb. And the moment you do that, then everything goes astray. We know how the war in Liberia started, and there were many of us who were in the student movement who felt, oh yeah, they were coming for Dog. They were not coming for me. I don't really care. All right, and we went. That's right. And we would take that transistor radio. I remember we had a transistor radio on the airfield. We just put it in an open place, and everybody would come to listen. 505, Focus on Africa. They said they were coming.
But Paul was lucky. Paul, at the time you were in Russia already, right?
All right,
Yeah, I was in Russia already.
So Paul, I have lived war. I know what war is. I know the devastation it brings. I know the tragedies of war. I know the effects of war. So I understand your point of argument. I'm only saying, hey guys, listen, let's chill. All right, let's give
Reverend,
the wisdom of
this is the situation now.
Yeah,
you see, sometimes diplomacy works in a silent way.
Yeah,
but the fact is that you have this group of gentle, because the government in Guinea they just transition from a gentle government to
that's right.
They are there.
Yeah.
They're sitting. But tomorrow morning we could hear a call from Guinea that, hey guys, take over. And we still, what do we do?
No, but there is an international order. Yeah. One of the things that I do not know what the government is doing in the background. All right. Sarah Yanti is a very strategic foreign minister. but I want to see what the government is going to do diplomatically. We have some muscles. We sit on the Security Council. I don't know up to now what has been.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think
I think
somebody's
it's the
calling him or
network trip.
something.
So Linford, the revenue will come back. It's just his internet. Maybe he got a call. So
Mhm.
what happened here is good that the diplomatic process is taking place, right?
Mhm.
But the fact is that this guy is sitting in your house while you
But Paul, let's get something straight. The group, the 2,000, around 2,000 men that we're talking about, they
yeah.
are on the Guinean side, right?
No, they have moved. Some of them they sitting, they play the planter, they on the they are the Guinean side, and
Mhm.
bulk of them are the Liberian side. They are 40 armed. So why will you have huge group of people there? So it's just one command that they could get. Say, look, you move. While we still drag, you know the Ukraine and Russia
In
war.
Russia situation,
So
or
when
the America and I call it Israel and Iran situation.
yeah, so we're talking that went through war, we don't want war. But these people already on your land. That tomorrow,
And Paul, you're making sense. You see, you remember when the U.S. and Israel were building up this military power when they were bringing when the aircraft carriers were on their way coming. I said something here on the scene show. I said there will be war. They just waiting to bring in their things, and and you can't tell me that Trump would have taken. You know how look. I'm a maritime man, okay? You know how long or how much it costs to just run a small fishing boat or one small boat, even the private boat that people get. You know how much it costs to run it for 30 minutes, 1 hour, and then the people amass that huge or two one of those aircraft carriers or big stuff, and then they kind of do one that accompany it. You know how much it costs to run it every day, the manpower, the fuel, the everything. Yeah. So I knew that there would be war. So this is the same situation with Guinea and Liberia. You think the people will just leave Guinea and come place a men to the border, no matter whether they eating, no matter whether they getting money per dime. Okay. So you think you just spend all that money for nothing, but there is something. So this is welcome again. Paul
Yeah.
was still fly before I started.
let
So
me
Paul,
just lay what I
continue your
was saying
statement.
before his internet went. Are you with all Remy? Look, that's the situation I was talking about.
I must
And
apologize. I think
that
I can hear you now.
the Guinean army sent over 2,000 men at their border. Some of them are crossed on the Liberian side, and they're sitting there. And there are diplomatic channel that people are talking, but the fact is that these guys are sitting down. Tomorrow there could be a telephone call. Say, look, guys, you'll take over Lofa County. What do we do?
Look,
The
man,
thing we try to avoid. What do
brother,
we do? This is, I mean, that kind of thing is scary. And we're talking
brother
about
Chilo play.
our young people, the female, all that. They in fear. Farming supposed to start now. Will they be able to go on the farm?
Yeah,
Everybody's just scared. So what do we do? So
those.
that's my fear because
Yeah,
tomorrow morning we could
but
hear, oh, these guys have
brother Chilo
marched
play.
in. So
I,
what do we do?
I want you to be an optimist in this season of Lent and as we transition to Easter on that glorious morning when Christ is the resurrection for those of us who are people of faith. The situation at the border is not anything that can be solved by violence. Because first of all, here we are. The same conversation I was talking about the need for the government to pay attention to the security structure in the country. But that is not something that you can do overnight. Rumors has it that the Guinean army is armed to the teeth. When Doumbouya took over, he almost depleted the whole reserve, the nation's reserve, on what? Armament. All right? That is what he did. Purchasing of additional and extraordinary arms. And that is why I was trying to give you the political situation that is prevailing in Guinea, that Doumbouya himself is not as secure as one would think. Because politically, if you look at how he transitioned from the military to civilian, he forced his way. So there has to be a way that he creates distraction that is taking place. He did not only do it. It happened to Sierra Leone. It happened to Cote d'Ivoire, all right, that we know, and also in Liberia. Liberia is the latest casualty. So I think Lord Chulopole, we need to keep that in mind, knowing fully well that you sit on an English soil. And if Winston Churchill was right, then Georgia is better than War. Yes, there has to be a way that we deal with this diplomatically, because first of all, Guinea is armed to the teeth. But that's not a political reasoning to say that it's stopping Liberia from doing what Liberia must do to protect its territory. Two, these are two borderlines that are heavily and strategically and traditionally related. Guineans and Liberians, we are practically almost the same. You have brothers and sisters speaking practically the same language on both sides of the border. You have kingsmen who are on both sides of the border. The Kissis are on the side of the Guinean side, and there are Kissis in a particular region, the Foya area. There are people who have intermarried, and it goes back to generations. Liberia has always stood in defense of what? Guinea. Even the attempt of the Portuguese to seize power in Guinea during the reign of Amman Sékou Touré, Liberia was a pivotal player in that process. All right?
But Revenue, that was then. Now you got a crazy guy almost like Donald Trump said it now. So
yes, and I think that's why he's taking advantage over. But here's the reality. Diplomatically, politically, and by way of wisdom, Doumbouya does not have the answer.
Right.
That political immaturity that he's exhibiting to some level, we will get to some point that Guinea must be called to book. The influences that we have internationally, they must be exerted, while at the same time, we ought to do all we can to create the avenue through which we can begin to recruit. The national army is neglected. Let's be realistic. And that is an age-old problem. I'm not putting it on squarely on President Walker. Yes, he's in charge now. All right, everything starts with him. Something must be done budgetarily. Something must be done strategically. Something must be done from a military standpoint, that we as Liberians must begin to invest in the army.
You know, as you speak,
but that is not something that you can do overnight. So, what is your political thesis? What's your argument here? We should go and start a war with Guinea?
Oh no, you can't just go start war, because the thing is, Reverend, the fact is that you have the immigration, the border patrol people are there.
Yeah.
And then you also have citizens in the region that don't sleep well because the military of Liberia have not yet moved into the area to give the people some sort of ensuring that, we here, there will be no war, but we here.
No, the military is there, and the military is there.
No. It was the Liberian police. They said the military is not there.
The military, I understand, certain level of troops are being deployed, because I was listening to the guys from Spoon and Amos Kotu and others. and another reporter who is has the name just as the president, Joseph Boakai. There are several border crossings, according to the account given by Joseph Boakai, not the president, but the reporter, in that Foya area. There is one crossing, one particular crossing that the Guinean soldiers have come across. That's where they are situated. All the other side is covered by the Liberian, I'd call it paramilitary, whether you call it immigration, police, or the army. There's one point where the military, the Guinean soldiers are. All right, that is it's only one point. But if this thing is gonna come to a resolution, I'm only saying in a strategic sense that it is better to dialogue. It is better to use the good offices that we have internationally. We have full representation on the Security Council. We need to call Guinea to book, and the government must get involved strategically while at the same time playing diplomacy, all right? But to raise these issues not only at the ECOWAS level, but also at the international level here in Washington, D.C., in New York. That the issues are raised to bring
I get all that.
I just want to come in.
I get all that. Leave out before you come in. I got all that.
Yeah.
But if a stubborn child decides you can go through all that without moving, so we don't have the manpower. So what do? This is where you get ECOWAS and other people to come in to help. This is what I'm saying. If this stubborn child decides I'm not moving, I'm not moving, I'm already sitting down.
Let me just come in. You see, no, Paul, I don't recall the last time. I'm not even sure if Guinea had ever fought war before. The only time Guinea came close to war when Liberia had war and they came as ECOMO troops. Okay? So Guinea, the citizens in Guinea had never had war. Even most of the people, the very soldiers that you see, they are not faced war. True. We came from there. We know the devastation. We are still trying to recover. And Guinea is not taking advantage of Liberia simply because they know we came from war. We are now fully recovered, and our military is still in the embryonic stage. We still building it, even though it was reorganized, but we are still building. Recruitment still going on and all these things. So they are probably taking advantage of us. You know, but this is a couple of things, and I'll pick a few points. One of the things he said that the border, the particular border, or all of the border, every country that get like border with Liberia, there are people from both sides that live there. Sierra Leone, if you go, you got many, and there are many people from Sierra Leone as well. The same Guinea, you got Guinea Pele, you got Guinea Mano, you got we got long border with them. If you go to Ivory Coast, we got the same thing. Guinea, the Ivorian Crown, Ivorian Gio, Ivorian Mano, and all these kind of things. So there's a video that I saw, and I will share the video with you guys. And this video, you will understand, you will get to know that Kisi people and that part of Lofa, where that border is, that Makona or whatever, that is predominantly the Kisi, sector or section of Lofa County. And they got to see Kisi people across the water. And I want to believe that during a demarcation, during the colonial period when people were demarcating countries, that's when the other Guinea people remain on our side, and the other Kisi people remain on our side, and the other one remain on the Liberian side. So I will play this video so you can hear what the commentator was saying, and then you'll know. 1 second, guys.
And I speak to you now, the Kisi Guinea from Conakry, from Geledu are coming to attack our people. I think you can see for yourself, they are all in the trees. They are gearing to come to attack. They are planning to burn our towns. They are planning to come and burn our towns and villages. I'm speaking to you as district commissioner. I came this morning just to quiet our young people. Now that they have come to attack, man, let them come, man. Let them come. Let them come. Let them come. La tongue, la woule, la woule, ahon. Let them come. Ahon. La topalong. La topalong. La topalong.
You are one of those.
You see them? You see them? The kissy. There's no more about military. It is kissy to kissy. The Guinean kissy have come to attack the Liberians on the side that they got to burn our towns and villages.
Yeah, this is very emotional, Linford.
Yeah. So
It is emotional.
you see, you're reading between the lines right there. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean,
the military is at the forefront, but the ordinary people, and this is how crisis can start. It rings bell from Rwanda, where the Tutsis and other people. That one was for internal, but this one is cross border.
Yeah, and this is why mediation is very crucial in this process. Mediation at all levels. All right, it's not only at the governmental level. It's also being done at the cultural, the kingsman level. There must be something that is brewing. We must get to the cause, the root cause of what's brewing. What is bringing this particular problem? All right, because I listened to one of the reporters. I don't know what it was, Amos Kotu, and along with the Joseph Walker guy I was talking about, who is a reporter there, and the young kid, the reporter Nelson from Spoon TV, and they were having the conversation that I saw, I witnessed on YouTube, and Kotu was indicating, I think he went to the place yesterday to permit him to go on the Guinean side, and even some of the Guinean soldiers, people in military fatigue, in the Guinean army, some of the guys were speaking practically like Liberians. And they were saying, without quoting them, but they were saying to him on the anonymity, they didn't want any disclosure on it, that they are not willing to fight. They are not interested in fighting. The only thing they are interested in is an order was given to them. That's how they came across the border. All right.
They see what other guys. They see where they can get orders and start shooting.
Yeah, he said he cannot do it because his mother is from the Foyasa, and his dad is from Guinea. And he was speaking. The journalist was saying when he listened to him, the guy spoke practically just like a Liberian. All right. And I think there is, like I said, there must be something underneath that is brewing. And what is brewing is Dumbuya thinking that Liberia is trying to create a launch pad to unseat him when he's already having tension in his own terrain, or he is using the Liberian, the Sierra Leonean, and the Cote d'Ivoire situation to distract the situation in Guinea, because he has already banned all political parties to be able to rule with iron hand. Who knows? But I think there must be a political solution to this crisis. It must be done on the national, international, regional, and on the global level.
And I think I also tend to agree with Cesar when he keeps stressing the diplomatic solution to this problem. Paul, you know why I agree with him? No, Guinea got nothing to lose for now politically. When it comes to Liberia, in Guinea, they can, Dumbuya can face his, opponents and whatever. But we Liberians, we stand more to lose. Number one, we got a government that took power 3 years, and this government has not fully delivered most of what they want. So I think President Bwaka is saying, no, listen, while it is true that these people are encroaching on our land, but we as a government, we are not delivered to what we committed ourselves. We are not delivered to the Liberian people. So we got more work to do than to go run behind a few boys who brought some guns and they cross. We can use diplomatic solutions or diplomatic efforts to get them back to where they came from. And let's focus on our development plan. I'm just thinking.
No, but in fact, I mean, you see it that way, but the reality of the matter is that war is not going to be the answer. First of all,
yeah, and the second thing is we're going to be having election. We're going to be having election comes 2029. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we jump in, we jump behind the crazy balls. We're going all in the bush. Our electoral process might be, postponed and everything interrupted.
You must have stability first before you have elections. I don't think that should be the guiding point towards what is needed. I think the point here is we need stability in the region. We need the situation, the challenges Africa faces. War is not going to solve it. Look at what's happening in the Horn of Africa. There's war going on in Sudan.
Dago, something happened. Something happened in Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
That you have, I would say, it's Equatorial Guinea or Niger, one of those countries that Nigeria have to act swiftly to stop some coup d'etat. Remember a few months ago?
That was
right.
Niger.
So we have a Monorail Union member and we have an ECOWAS member. They step in another ECOWAS country. So you get Ghana, you get Nigeria, you get all of these big players in the region. Why can't they not teach Guinea a lesson that the nonsense they're doing, they have to be punished for doing the nonsense they're doing?
Yes.
I'm looking because you see, when you're dealing with crazy person in Liberia, you have a saying, say, when the crazy man slap, you got to slap that crazy man because if you don't do it, he'll do more. This is where efforts supposed to come in and flush you guys out, and then we can sit down peacefully. Now, my Oma in Bofa County from 4 years want to go on the farm, she's scared. What's going to happen to her? Because they are being there is fear alone. So where is the efforts?
Cesar mentioned something. He said, we don't know what the government is doing, and I agree with him. But all of us here, we don't know what the government is doing. But now the government should be taking steps and briefing us all the time that, okay, this is how far we're going, and this. But let's put out this in here.
Well, before you put it, I want there won't say something here. I want to look at before you go to the information minister. There won't go his view or something else. So let's listen to him and see what he's
today. I have chosen this shrine of Liberia, the vicinity of the Centennial Pavilion and the Providence Baptist Church, where the Constitution of Liberia was adopted, to speak to the Liberian people, but more to speak to President Joseph Yuma Boakai. I'm standing by the grave of President Tubman, the man who prevented war between Liberia and Guinea right at the beginning of the independence of Guinea. I spoke about it in my write-up. President Tubman was influenced by the French. The French offer air support, naval support, and the military and their military hardware for President Tubman to fight for territories that were lost to French Guinea during the colonial period after independence. They came to President Tubman and said, we can help you to acquire all of your land that we took from you in Guinea today, because President Sekou Touré has driven us from Guinea. I heard this story from Foreign Minister Silla in 1992 when I was sent to see President Conte as a special envoy of President Emerson Sawyer to the presidents of Sierra Leone and Guinea. I met President Joseph Momo, but then when I got to Guinea, President Conte had gone to the forest region. It was about the fear that ECOMOG would leave Liberia because President Sawyer had gone to see President Gaddafi and had not informed his colleagues about it, so he sent me with a special message. And Foreign Minister Sila told me, Mr. Gonglo, I will not cancel our law then. Go and tell President Sawyer not to worry. Even if all of the ECOMOG troops leave Liberia, Guinea can never leave Liberia because Guinea owes a debt of gratitude to Liberia that Guinea will never be able to pay. He said, after independence, because we did not want to be a part of assimilation, like Ivory Coast and Senegal and the other former French colonies, France took pipes, electric wires, everything, ransacked Guinea, and then put a naval blockade. Nothing could come in Guinea. Guinea could not export. And then came the President Tubman and said, we can give you military support, air, naval, and our military mission war tanks for you to regain the territories that we took from you, including the whole of Nimba Mountain. President Tubman said, you have given it to our brothers, and I can tell you, I, as president of Liberia, will not allow 1 ounce of any African blood, Guinean blood or Liberian blood, to be wasted for the land that he took away from us. He didn't stop there. He turned to the Guineans and told President Secretary, since there's a naval blockade on you, you can get all of your goods through the free port of Monrovia. You can export through the free port of Monrovia. This story was told me by the foreign minister of Guinea in 1992. So I strongly believe that Guinea and Liberia will never fight. But I hear Liberians say, oh, the way the Guineans came to the border, yes, the Guineans may have overreacted, but what was the cause? The cause that we have heard unofficially is that some people in this government were mining gold and diamond in that water. It's a violation of international law. When there is a river, any stream, any water between two states, for you to carry on that kind of operation, carry mining operation, it has to meet the consent of the other country. It is a violation of our law. And so I'm calling upon President Baka, standing in this shrine of Liberia, the Centennial Pavilion, the grave of President Tubman, and the Providence Baptist Church, where our Constitution was drafted and adopted, for him to launch a serious investigation, a very serious investigation. And anybody who is found to have violated this international law that brought Guinea and Liberia nearly to war, to be held accountable. If it is a minister in his government, that minister should be dismissed. If it is someone in the other branch of government, that person should be prosecuted. It was an act of treason, something that will undermine the sovereignty of Liberia. If President Baka does not do it, then he's complicit, and I will launch a campaign for his impeachment. I'm very serious about it.
Linford?
Yeah. Okay. You know,
Well.
I'm happy that he laid out historical context. And I will ask the two of you, have you ever heard this word in Liberia? Anybody ever mentioned this thing? How you dated a Guinea cowboy?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Have you ever heard it before?
I heard that many times.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And do you know where it came from? He mentioned something that President Tubman did not only deny the French people to arm him to attack Guinea, to clean bad land, but Tubman in turn turned to Guineans and said, look, listen, economically, I'll open my border to you, you'll do everything. And the reason why I asked you about that phrase, you did it a Guinea cowboy. My uncle, my mom's brother, who raised me, he used to be the secretary to the late Internal Affairs Minister Jake Samuel Merton, and we were all Merton. He was our foster father. And we lived in Corway. We also lived on his farm around the Wayala area there. And when I was growing up, that's between 1968, very busy, 1968, 69, 70. They used to have these small tankers. I don't know if any of you saw it. This Paul wouldn't have seen it. These small tankers.
Yeah.
I would come from Guinea, and those guys would spend, I don't know how many weeks they would spend on the road, just coming to Liberia to get fuel and gasoline to carry back to Guinea.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the offer that Bottomline made with them. And when those guys came those days, the quota road used to start with Toyota, right? So from Toyota all the way to Guinea, it was dusty. I don't know where in Guinea they were coming from.
Yeah.
The quota road, Paul, at least they will start with some water to shower. Don't want to shower. But if not, you will see the guy because they were always like 3 or 4. These small tankers to the back of the truck.
Yeah.
In the front, they get 2 men there, then they get 1 man sitting on top of the top. And this will carry comfort. So now 10, 15, 20 of them can come. When you can human being when you talk, you see a moth, you see a whitey, but they can be completely dirty.
Oh yeah, so, that's true.
So you see that historical context that the councillor lay on is true. And so with this kind of history between the two countries, I don't understand why on 1984 born, we just get up and one day want to come and attack. Isn't this boy reading history, or doesn't he have all people that would things on history between the two? Because the worst thing, all of us here, we are friends and neighbors. We should be concerned about each other. Because if my house is on fire as your neighbor, you help me to put my fire off. Tomorrow, maybe it will be flood coming to your house. When you blacken the water, myself, I'll remember that you put up a fire, so I'll come to help you. But if you make your neighbor your enemy, we can see how Trump suffering now. Trump calling NATO people, they see NATO people who are castigating, calling them to help, and they say, no, we useless, you need us.
That's
God,
that's
give your final thought, the two of you.
Yeah.
And I will start with say the Paul will close it up. Give your final thought on this discussion, and if you got any recommendation to our central government. No, here before you do that, let me address the question you asked. The thing you're talking, what is the government doing? And do you see what our information minister wrote here on his personal page? I'll read it because the prints are too small. And this has been one of the controversial the controversies in the past few hours, at least 48 hours in Liberia. He said, I see people on social media expressing anger, saying our territorial sovereignty is being encroached upon and that the government is doing nothing. If you believe nothing is being done, would you like to volunteer so we can arm you to go and address the situation? And he wrote his name at the bottom, Jeremy Pierre, Matthew Pierre, Minister of Information. Now, Guy, when we talk about the government not doing anything, or what the government is doing, is this a message in a time of crisis that the government's arm that are supposed to inform the people, explain the government policy to people, explain what the government is doing to the people? And I ain't saying this because I lived it, I did it. Is this the way the government that is responsible for all of those activities supposed to address the citizens?
No, I don't think so. From my own experience and as a communicator, but I don't know from whence he speak. I know crisis management, especially in times of war, is something that is very difficult. The government needs to be as forthcoming as possible. But the reality of the matter is there are also issues that are of national security interest that the government might not disclose in the wake of all that is happening. What one was talking about is the Makona River. Makona Links is the one that is between the border region over there, Foya and Guinea, all the way up towards the Gigadoo Belt. He struck a key point, and I don't know how do we verify this. I would want to encourage you, Linfa, and Brother Chilople to see how you can make contact with your sources. And I will be in touch as well in Liberia to figure out. And that's what I say initially, there must be something underneath.
Yeah.
All right. And if anyone within government, the cabinet, the legislature, or wherever that was involved in that aspect of minerals, digging, or whatever it is, it contravenes international law. And I think the president needs to go to the bottom of it. I cannot substantiate or clearly say it is true or not. But I know Councillor Gongolo pretty well. I don't think he would just be speaking out of his mouth without some tangible and verifiable information he might have gotten. Because I know that even with the bilateral agreement that we have, or trilateral agreement between Guinea, Liberia, the iron ore, and with the mining company that is involved with shipment coming through Liberia, we have a very long history. But one of the things that always will bring tension, that will brew tension between nations, as we know, rivers. Conflict over rivers are crucial if you go in war history. Conflict over minerals. Conflict over resources. And I think if it is from that lens that is coming from, the government probably do not want to disclose at this point, but it must thoroughly investigate to figure out why is it the guys have crossed the Makona River, and the Guineans are not people who are used to expressing themselves, especially within the military context. They are given strict instructions. They are under their covering, and like that other, military guy who was quoted in the military fatigue, the Guinean military, that he did not come, he doesn't want to fight a war. He's not interested in the war because his mother is from the Foya side. His dad is from the Guinea side. We are all one people. And I think the government must be proactive in dealing with this issue diplomatically. There must be some clarity because you listen to the guy who said, I don't know he was a commissioner or not, over there, that in fact it's not the Guinean government, it's the people on the other side. Then I can see that there is something, there's a fight over something. All right, that certain people believe it belongs to them or it's supposed to be shared. And in such a
one group is taking it.
Yeah, you alone cannot eat in such a situation.
Yeah.
And you try to leave the other residents out. It's common sense. All right. And
Okay, but guys,
that's the tension.
actually our time is fast spent, is it? Our time is fast spent, and and I think we got to close up on this thing because we got an international thing to do. So Paul, right. I don't know, maybe it says you let to just make, if you got any recommendation to the government in 1 minute, you can make it. And then we'll go to Paul. So
well, I think the recommendation is, like I said, Georgia is better than war. We need to stop the bleeding. We need to quiet the tension. We need to work diplomatically. The government must work diplomatically both at the ECOWAS level and at the international community level. I'm talking about the United Nations, to see how they can bridge the gap and bring a solution, an amicable solution. But the perpetrators, if there are people involved in that aspect, They need to be called out, and punitive measures need to be taken. And the government of Liberia must deploy soldiers at the front lines. When I'm talking about front lines, I'm talking about the border lines. You know, our borders are porous.
Very porous.
Yeah, and we cannot continue to live that way. It's not only on the Guinean side, also on the Sierra Leonean side, on the Ivorian side. All right? This is something that is typical. And most of the times we pay less attention to security officers. We pay less attention to those who are soldiers. We pay less attention to their payment, to their care, barracks that need to be built if they need to be built. Lawmakers must realize that they alone cannot be able to take all that money all the time when other strategic areas of governance are being left out. That's the moral call on President Boakai, the moral call on those who are in the legislature to have reason to understand that we've had too much of war. We don't want to go back to war. The resources must be distributed equitably. It cannot just be with one branch of government that the speaker makes over, he has a budget over $1 million, or the deputy speaker, or the office of the president. Reasoning must come into play here, or the president pro tem. I mean, look at the incident in Foya, all right, with the agitation and everything that took place. Just what if there was going to come bullets from both sides? You know where we will be today? All that conversation about I'm the speaker, I'm the deputy, I'm this, people will start getting on the plane and flying away. We know them. We know the history. We don't want to go back to that. So the government must be strategic to know that the military must be built. There have to be ways in which they can begin to train, recruit, and make sure that these soldiers have incentives. We need to be our own security. America is not going to do it for us. Yes, we have a link with America, but you're not going to get American boots to lead. We have our own.
If you can see, if you do know, just look in the Middle East where America has all of that, whatever, and but we want to say thank you very much, Osise, for closing up on that. Paul, you got any quick recommendation or any final word, and then we'll switch.
Oh, my recommendation be easy. ECOWAS, they need to convene an ECOWAS meeting and give Guinea a serious warning. You see, when you have the picking in a room that don't understand, this is where the big boys need to call him to his senses, and that's what they need to do. Get ECOWAS involved, summon him. If he refuses, yes, ECOWAS capable of flushing them out. They can't do anything, but they must be taught a lesson. And I think that's the historical part that he's lacking. He have not studied the history. That's why he behaving, but somebody need to teach him a good lesson. And this is where ECOWAS should step in. That would be my recommendation. Because the UN, we can't depend on the UN. We know that entity is controlled by America. Is one of the most, I don't want to use some kind of word here. The revenue is here. So let's close it and move forward.
Okay, guys. So we want to say thank you for being with us. We'll be switching over to international news, and we all know what's happening internationally. But let me just give 1 or 2 words on this LOFA issue. You see, like all of my colleagues have said here, war cannot solve the problem. And we live in war for 13 years, 14 years. You know what it means? And you know what set people back? Today we got drugs affecting our young people. And people think that those young people just want to go and take drugs willingly. No, that's a ripple effect. Remember that most of the children that we got now, about 15, 16 years that are doing drugs, their parents were also in a war using drugs. And so they were products of drugs. And so all they saw was their father sending them to go buy this thing, or their father sitting there and taking something, and they do say, they tried. See, so we need to get rid of this. But I hope the Guinean people too will get to understand. And it's understandable that this is a new leader in Guinea, and this guy came to power through the barrels of the gun, and so he feels that, I mean, that's the only way he can solve problems. But we hope the ECOWAS and AU or whatever group will come in and then make good, give them good advice and tell them, explain to them that it's not good. And we've been talking about, every time I hear people say, oh, we need a united Africa. How can we be united when neighbors are at each other's throat? The supremacy that we got it. Nigeria will say, we are the giants of Africa. South Africa will say, oh, we are this. And Liberia will say, okay, we are this, we are the other. No, this cannot work. And so we have seen it, that it doesn't work. From the 50s, 60s coming, all countries got independence. What is happening? Why are we still behind? Because we are not thinking, but that will be discussion for another time. So we're going to take one short break and then we'll come back and we'll switch over to the international side and we'll be closing up.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Chola Play conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, Audience with Lord Chola Play. On the Bottom Line, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Chola Play Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberian time. Subscribe now. Join the conversation on the Bottom Line Liberia, because the questions that matter most are the ones we're brave enough to ask.
And welcome back, and thanks for being with us all along. We want to say this platform belongs to you. When you are here, we are here, and together we can have wonderful time. But guys, Liberia is a part of the Committee of Nations. And wherever we live, we are Liberians, but wherever we live and whatever happens to us, we feel it everywhere around the world.
Oh, yes.
Paul, I will start by playing a video about this war that is taking place in Liberia. I'm so sorry, guys. We do have war in Liberia, in Iran. Now, there is this old video that somebody predicted that there will be this war, and because of the United States policy, their international policy, where they feel that they should be dominant, they should dominate everything, they should decide what happens to other countries. So this person actually predicted. So we are going to play this video, and then we can spark up the discussions with that and see how far we'll go. Because everything has been said about this war, right? Everything, just about everything has been said about this war. And so, but there are just key things that I want us to listen to in this video, and then we can start a discussion from there. I got one more video that I will play, and then we'll be closing the show. Oh, something is wrong. I think the volume is where do I find my volume? Sorry, guys, this is technology, and so we still trying to.
Some of the consequences about which we should be concerned. Our government intervention in the economy, the private affairs of citizens, and the internal affairs of foreign countries leads to uncertainty and many unintended consequences. Here are some of the consequences about which we should be concerned. I predict U.S. taxpayers will pay to rebuild Palestine, both the West Bank and the Gaza, as well as Afghanistan. U.S. taxpayers paid to bomb these areas, so we will be expected to rebuild them. Peace of sorts will come to the Middle East, but will be short-lived. There will be big promises of more U.S. money and weapons flowing to Israel and to Arab countries allied with the United States. Federal Reserve policy will continue at an expanding rate with massive credit expansion, which will make the dollar crisis worse. Gold will be seen as an alternative to paper money as it returns to its historic role as money. Military and police powers will grow, satisfying the conservatives. The welfare state, both domestic and international, will expand, satisfying the liberals. Both sides will endorse military adventurism overseas. During the next decade, the American people will become poorer and less free, while they become more dependent on the government for economic security. The war will prove to be divisive, with emotions and hatred growing between the various factions and special interests that drive our policies in the Middle East. Agitation from more class warfare will succeed in dividing us domestically. And believe it or not, I expect lobbyists will thrive more than ever during the dangerous period of chaos. I have no timetable for these predictions, but just in case, keep them around and look at them in 5 to 10 years. Let's hope and pray that I'm wrong on all accounts. Mr. Speaker.
Okay. And guess who this guy is? Ron Paul.
Yes.
I think, yeah. And he made these predictions in 2002. Where are we? We are in 2026. Well over 15, 16 years. Okay? And guess what? Most of what he said came to be true. There will be this war that will divide everybody. And what's happening to NATO? NATO is divided practically. Okay? There will be this war that will make the value of the US dollar, the petrodollar to shrink. And what's happening? There will be this war that American taxpayer will be paying for to rebuild Palestine. And what's happening? So you see, guys, this war in Iran is not a mistake. I think this is the long-term policy of the American government. And I don't live in the US, but we follow issues. We follow events. And this is just one of them unfolding right before our eyes. A war that, in my view, I may be right or wrong, that was not meant to be even fought. A war that has no meaning for me, you know. But guys, this is where we are. And today, the power of America has been challenged. I mean, greatly challenged. So there is one more video. I'll just play a short. Let me play. Yeah.
The conversation that you just started. There is another video that summarized the whole thing. And it just in my beginning show, I said it's the emperor ready to fall. I've been in the UK for 34 years. And the English will tell you they were very arrogant people that went all over the place. Their pounds were very powerful back then, before the Americans took from them. So when the empire is about to fall, they do all kind of crazy things. And what Ron Paul said is exactly what is happening. But there's another video to that broke down how the British Empire collapsed. And Americans, they're not learning from what happened to the British. They're following the same step. So before you play it, I want to put that in, then we can look at the conclusion of this, because it's quite interesting. Let me let this roll. And then the Reverend can come in, because it's quite interesting. People don't follow history. And the Reverend says something on the program, say, war started by mineral resources, and all that. Back in the day, the British were good at the power. They were the powers on the sea. They did a lot of bad things. So let me roll this thing down. We can have a conversation and close up.
In November 1956, the most powerful empire in human history, one that ruled a quarter of the earth and dominated global trade for over a century, was brought to its knees in just 11 days. It was not defeated by a rival military or a bloody revolution, but by a single phone call threatening to collapse its currency. Within hours, the British Empire surrendered to its own debt, realizing it was no longer the superpower it claimed to be. That moment, known as the Suez Crisis, was the final nail in the coffin of British dominance. But what history books conveniently leave out is that Britain fell because it had been making the exact same mistakes that America is making right now. By 2026, those exact same mistakes may finally catch up with the United States. To understand how this collapse happens, you have to look at the peak. In the 19th century, the British pound was the undisputed currency of the world, giving Britain the almost supernatural power to print money, fund its military, and run massive trade deficits because everyone needed their currency. But as the late 1800s approached, the United States was already outpacing British factories, innovation, and wealth. Britain's currency only remained dominant because of economic inertia. The world was simply used to using the pound. World War I transformed Britain from the world's largest creditor into one of its largest debtors, owing massive sums, especially to the United States. Instead of adjusting to this new reality, British leaders made a fatal blunder in 1925 by returning to the gold standard at the pre-war exchange rate, driven by pure ego and denial. To maintain this artificially high currency value, they kept interest rates painfully high, which strangled economic growth and spiked unemployment. Yet they kept spending as if they still ruled the world, funding a global military presence and an empire they could no longer afford. During the Great Depression in 1931, Britain was forced off the gold standard entirely, and the pound lost nearly 30% of its value almost overnight. And it only survived as a reserve currency because Britain essentially held its colonies hostage, forcing places like India and Australia to hold their reserves in pounds. The United States is currently following this exact same playbook, not just a similar one, but the exact one. America maintains the illusion of power by forcing the world to hold American currency through the petrodollar system, where oil is priced exclusively in dollars. But just as colonies eventually gained independence, oil-producing nations are getting tired of American foreign policy, with countries like China and Russia now trading in their own currencies, and BRICS nations actively building alternative payment systems. America's debt-to-GDP ratio is approaching 120% and climbing rapidly, adding over $2 trillion to the national debt in just 1 year, borrowing $7 billion every single day just to keep the government running. Like Britain, which bankrupted itself after World War II, but refused to downsize its global presence, America currently spends more on its military than the next 9 countries combined, policing the globe with a credit card. Britain's final collapse came suddenly during the 1956 Suez Crisis, when it tried to retake the nationalized Suez Canal through military force alongside France and Israel. The United States, infuriated by this old-fashioned colonialism, threatened to dump its holdings of British pounds and block Britain's emergency IMF loan. Draining foreign currency reserves at over $100 million per week and days away from complete financial catastrophe, Britain was forced to order a ceasefire and withdraw. The empire had been brought to heel by its own creditor. America's own Suez moment is rapidly approaching. It could be a failed military intervention, a congressional debt ceiling crisis, or a geopolitical shock where targeted nations refuse to comply with financial sanctions because they no longer need the American banking system. The numbers for 2026 show that interest payments on the U.S. national debt will exceed $1 trillion annually, costing more than the entire defense budget or Medicare. When a reserve currency falls, it brings devastation to ordinary citizens. When the pound collapsed, British citizens watched their savings evaporate, the cost of imports skyrocket, and jobs disappear. If the dollar loses its reserve status, everything Americans import will cost dramatically more. Interest rates on mortgages and credit cards will spike, and the comfortable middle-class lifestyle will become a memory. Britain's transition from apparent strength to obvious weakness took about 30 years, but the final collapse took less than 2 weeks. America's foundation has been weakening for 50 years, running constant trade deficits since 1975 and accelerating. Debt since 2008, meaning the eventual collapse will likely be even more sudden. History does not repeat, but it rhymes, and right now, the rhyme between Britain then and America now is almost perfect. The most dangerous phrase in finance is believing this time is different. Prepare yourself by paying attention to the warning signs, diversifying your assets, and building real skills because the government will not save you. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, please hit that subscribe button. Follow for more deep dives into the economic forces shaping our world. And try encouraging viewers.
Reverend,
This is interesting.
From what Linford play and from this clip, they just sum the whole situation that we are in a complete mess. And you see, the British people, I think they're now poking into the American eye or what Americans did to them with the Suez Canal in the 50s. That, we partner, but we're not going to go to cause the damage economically. We know what's happening. Therefore, I just thought this is quite interesting video. It's quite educative. So I don't know what you think. Is the empire going to fall?
I know Cisse has been taking some notes, but let me play the reason why we pushing all the video is that our time is fast spent, but we'll push all the videos so that we can just summarize everything. And this other video is about how Americans are feeling. You know, listen, yeah, we know every country, like our own country, Liberia, right? We are concerned about our territorial boundaries. We are concerned about our security. So America and Americans are also concerned that any other country, like I said, okay? But when these things happen, who bears the cost? Who underwrites the cost is the citizens. Now, this war that started, well, he is the president, President Trump. He can veto. He can say, well, he can declare emergency and say, well, we are in a state of emergency. We got to protect ourselves. Fine, great. You in the west, and then you are threatening way in the east. The general, I'm sitting there, I see I'm threatening in heaven that I have not been before. I don't know what's going on there. I say, oh, but I see threat coming to me from heaven. So I got to protect myself. Let me move to heaven and bring a threat before it hit me here on earth. So, but who's bearing the cost? And who already feel the pain? We all here were in war. The war that started in 1989 in our country, Liberia. We were not part of it, but we all ended up running away. First, we were denying it, but then it reached to us. The reality hit us. So Americans are now feeling the reality of war. So let's just play the other video, and then we can sum everything up, and then we can move on to the close of the show. And this is, I think, the governor of California, Tom Steele. I'm not too sure. I don't live in America, so I don't know. But the name of this representative is called, or Tom, I don't know whether he's governor or whatever, but he's Tom Steele. So let me just play what he said.
This war is taking our money that should be going to schools and healthcare and home care, and we're dropping bonds 12,000 miles away for a reason that no one has ever explained. That is money. That's our tax money. That should be going to the people of California, not to bombing a city halfway around the world on a theory that no one has even come up with yet.
Our money that should be going to healthcare, our money that should be going to Cisse's retirement benefits. Because I'm naming him because he lives in America. But if it were happening in Norway, I would say this is our money that will be going to my retirement benefit, my children's future. If it were in UK, we would say this is money that will be going to pause benefit his retirement and whatever healthcare. When he's old, he can't work again. They will buy a wheelchair for him to sit down inside. But guys, we've seen the drama unfold for the past 3 weeks now. And there are several videos that I have, but we don't have the time. But a lot of people are saying that President Trump saw this thing like, a quick wrap up stuff, like you got a password, you just wrap it some kind of way, and then you can put it in your bed and move it. Like what happened in Venezuela. Go and move Maduro and bring here his wife and put her in jail, and then we take over, and then and everything is okay. Go to Iran, say Iran have been recalcitrant, go and kill the Ayatollah, and then by the time you kill the Ayatollah, all the people will get in the street and start demonstrating against this regime, and we can move them. But everything proved the contrary in Iran. And here we are today. The last time we had a show here on Tuesday, we played a video by President Trump where he said they were shocked. They did not expect that Iran would have sustained the war up to now. And as we sit and speak now, nobody knows how long can Iran sustain the war. We've heard this part of story where, we damaged all their arsenal, everything are not here again. But we bring in more warships. When we have already damaged the people, everything, they are zero. But we bring in more warships. We deploy 2,500 ground troops. Talk to me, Zeze, you are in America. I'm sorry to put you on this spot, but at least you are in America. And
Yeah.
I don't know. That your taxpayer money.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't want to preach doom and gloom, but I think we are approaching Easter. It is very important that we keep at the back of our minds why Christ died for us. Because when we depend on man or the war order, it's quite challenging and quite difficult. America is at a declining moment. It's at a pivotal time in its history. And the reality of the matter is history has taught us no one nation can remain on the top. That's just history. That's the true reality. It's the reality we must face. But man does not have the answer. You and I, as we sit here, cannot predict what the next hour is going to be. So we can project, the living conditions here are getting worse. Over the past 2 weeks, gasoline has gone up over 60%. Right now, in my area of Pennsylvania, I'm paying somewhere around $4.10. I saw it this morning. Maybe by the time I'm done with this program, I have a meeting. And if I go to that meeting in the city on my way back, maybe gasoline is going to be around $4.15 or $4.20.
And you pay for a gallon, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the amount you're calling is what I am paying for one bottle or liter.
Okay, well,
and we produce here. We produce.
That's right. Yeah, you produce there, and you are paying for liter.
Liter, yeah.
So your liter is a little more higher. How to call it is.
That's just one bottle, one beer bottle.
It's one beer bottle that you have. So meaning yours.
And five of it make your gallon.
Make the gallon. But here's the irony about abundance. It's very telling and challenging that where there's abundance, the people suffer. It's the same as Liberia. The same as Liberia, where there is incredible abundance, there's what? There's considerable ignorance.
Yeah.
All right, because those who sit on the mind are delusional most times. It's like if you go to Lagos or you go to Nigeria and you see people in line with gallons trying to find gasoline. But the producer there
Exactly.
So I think this is a real global challenge. And as we look into the picture of Ron Paul and that American individual, and also,
Don't steal.
the Swiss situation with the narrator, the lady who explained, what goes around comes around. And there's nothing new in history.
Yeah.
So no one stays at the top. It's like what's happening in Francophone Africa. What's happening with the French?
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching a video, and it amazes me to see that over 800 troops are now deployed in Kenya. Kenya, where the Mau Mau were chasing the British for freedom. William Ruto is a clown, all right, and he's having problem with the Gen Zs and the Kenyan population. But you see how when people try to maintain power,
Yeah.
all right, the imperialists are still fighting. France cannot survive,
Without
according
Africa.
to Jacques Chirac, without Africa, French status, French economy,
Yes.
French way of life would be like far worse than the Third World. That's what it depends on. You think they're gonna give it out easily? They're gonna fight to maintain it. So you see what happened in the Sahel region. Those are the real freedom fighters. I mean, they may be military imposture, but those guys are real thinking guys. All right? And that old Negro spiritual that tells us that the mind is a terrible thing to waste. We have to start to be a thinking people. Look, man, I've lived in this country over 24 years. Linford, I thought these people knew better.
I was in Liberia in November, and when I say it, people say, "Where you talking?" I said, "You don't know better."
I'm telling you, I try to know their own history, their own civics. They have no clue, man. Nothing. All right. So even the prices of gasoline prices skyrocketing, man. Those of us who are we are pastors, we are ministers, we are community organizers. We travel all the time. We're always on the road. They are crying. They can't believe what's going on. You go to the grocery stores, everything is high up.
Yeah.
And I was saying to some Liberians just recently, before I left, I was in Liberia recently on a quick mission trip. And I said to them, you guys don't understand right now this war that is on. You don't get it. You don't get any picture of what's happening. You don't know what we go through in the diaspora. Whether I'm in Germany or I'm in Spain or I'm in Norway or I'm in London, I say you have no understanding. You don't have any clue. And why is it you people are not appreciative? I mean, we would go from every struggle from night to day, just trying to make sure to feed you, and you sit in the land that anything you throw outside grows. But you can't even clean your backyard.
Yeah.
And you want somebody to go and buy pepper for you, man? Come on, give me a break.
but
this is what's happening
you'll be surprised.
So, I mean, it's happening here.
You'll be surprised.
The political order, Americans are complaining, thinking that, they're supposed to be in charge and everything's supposed to be good for them. But look, man, there's extreme poverty here.
Yeah, and I think the video that Paul play, when the empire is about to fall, it can start from itself. The empire can dishonor itself, and you'll be surprised. You just talk about Liberia. I was in Liberia in November when my mom died, and we are going to go do the burial, and people buy. My sister then I get them money, and they buy pepper from Raider. I say, you buy pepper from Raider to carry the country? You can't be serious. And they said, no, brother, you understand? and so this is it, and this is the land of abundance. But Paul, the time is fast, and we are a little over our time. What What is your final take on this thing? And then let's wrap it up because we're going to be here on Tuesday again, or you're going to be here on Friday, Paul, exclusively with you will be finding your guest and you'll be here. But for now,
I watched a program once someone predicted that the continent, Africa, will become the savior of many countries. And I think this is when our country, Liberia, should start preparing now because there'll be inflow of Black Americans that don't know where to go. Liberia could be that place.
They are already there, brother. They are already there.
The emperor is about to fall. And this is when they're falling. Look, I was in the USS Arrow. When Gorbachev came, he was the reformist. What happened? One mistake he made, that was the de-integration of the entire 15 nation. You see, Donald Trump, for some reason, new to Americans, they say he was the savior, put America first. But this guy could be the destroyer. And this is how it's looking. Could you imagine from the time we've been on the planet Earth, when America travels somewhere, the main partner is Great Britain. While all of a sudden Britain decide no, they're not going. Something just said that something is not right. Something is just not right. And when something not right, this is what happened. So we just need to embrace ourselves in Africa. You see the thing that Abraham Traore and all of doing the Sahel nation, Liberia should start doing the same thing because we're going to benefit all these people will come. Because it just take one nation, the California, say we don't want to be part of the U.S., the whole system collapse. That way we may be heading to it. Just take a man, one crazy person to do that, the whole thing will go boom. So on that note, I think I will go with the second video that the emperor is about to fall, but we don't know when. But we're leading that way. So yes. Reverend, I hope we have you again, man, so we can have a fruitful discussion. And I hope the next time you're on the platform, Lofa County should not fall. That's my concern.
Well, I don't think Lofa is going to fall. I think there is going to be a peaceful and amicable solution to the situation at the border. It's going to take a little bit of time. I want to encourage all of us to exercise patience. We know what war is. We know where we came from. The experiences that we went through during the time of war, they were bitter experiences. I mean, you may not have had the opportunity because you probably were far away and nobody want to hold you to that. But I mean, those of us who encounter what war is, and if you look at history, you get to see that war has no justification. There are no winners.
Mm-hmm.
We all will lose in the end. Properties will be damaged. Lives will be destroyed. We have had over almost 30 years of considerable decay. What is going to become of the young generation, the trauma issues that we have in Liberia, the challenges, the abuse of women, girls who do not have an opportunity to go to school, boys who cannot go to school because their families cannot afford, poverty on top of poverty, perpetual and persistent poverty. That's the Liberian situation. That's the story. So I think we need to tread carefully, and we want to admonish President Boakai to be able to take those rightful steps along the way. And I say, in the meantime, we also need to be aware that no one is going to protect our borders than we ourselves. We need to invest a little more in the military, in the paramilitary. We need to pay them a little more. People need to understand it can't just be representatives or senators who take that huge sum. We need to improve our schools. We need to improve the situation at the University of Liberia. across the spectrum, across the country. This incident has proven that we are vulnerable in many areas, and national security is paramount. You can never have peace. You can never have democracy if there's no security. You can never maintain democracy if the paramilitary is broken.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of that. History has taught us that. And as we are rebuilding, we cannot leave the military behind and say we're going to rebuild and leave out all of our security apparatus in that state of decay. It's not going to take us anywhere.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank you guys, man. I think it's been a great time being here. I'm hoping and praying that we can do this again. From time
always
to time,
do.
I will be here. Once I'm called upon, when I have the time, I will come in. I'm always busy running in between. I know Linford had extended invitation on Tuesday. I said it was just, I had a very tight schedule.
I remember you said you were so close.
Yeah, but it's great.
But
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll always get to use it, and like I said, I will let you talk for me, flow, because you will say exactly what I want to say. And it was good having you here, and I know you and Paul will now connect and just to tease you a little bit. The next time I take you on, maybe I may take you on one-on-one.
That would be good.
Yeah, and I'll tell Paul and the rest of the guys, you'll stay behind. Say I'm taking a sabbatical from Christianity. Let me get some of my questions answered.
That would be good.
Yeah, if you guys can convince me, I'll come back again.
It's good that the Reverend will be here because Reverend, we have an issue here on this platform, and it's biblical issue. So we'll be happy to have you one day to really get into some biblical questions so you can help us understand. Because
that would be good.
When we read the scripture, sometimes it upside down, we need somebody to straighten and say, no, it means this. So we hope that after the Holy Week, that one day we'll have you to have a discussion on this platform.
No problem. That would be great. That would be great. Let's do that.
And so on that note, we want to say thank you to our friend and brother, Reverend Sise Pade, and we've come a long way, like I said before, and we will always have the pleasure of having you here, so we are all Liberians. I mean, just by where we live. Our common patrimony is Liberia, and whatever affects Liberia affects us wherever we are. It's good to have you, and we hope to have you again here in the next few days or so, depending on your own schedule. And
not a problem. You have my contact. Just let me know.
And feel free to always contact me if you have anything that you think we can talk about. Okay. So, but guys, it was good to be here. Thanks for being with us. Let's, as usual, our tradition, we got to recognize few people. Let's recognize Aries and Gono. I think, Paul, this is the first time I hear the person name. Aries and Gono, and of course our brother Tomo, Boniface, Nelson, as well as Allison, BLP. They were Allison anyway. And a host of other people who were here with us. It was good that you were here. Alfonso Tere, he said I should apologize that Netanyahu is not there. Alfonso, there's a video. There's an analysis by one woman. If I send you that video and you listen to that video, you know that Netanyahu is no more. This is a guy who's supposed to be out, but anyway, I don't want to predict, because I wouldn't be happy for anybody's death. But well, this is life. Why you wish for other people, it can happen to you too, right, Paul? Allah. You are mute. You are muted.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying, do you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I was saying, my man, if I should tell you, I should apologize because Netanyahu is not there. But I didn't say Netanyahu should die anyway. But again,
You know, Alfonso always come up with all
yeah,
sort of stories. So,
anybody can die.
yeah.
I mean, I should not die that Netanyahu can die. Okay, you're saying Netanyahu not die. Let him make a true press conference. Me, all I want.
No, he cannot give press conference for some reason, no, because the Iranian will go after him. So he can only do videos.
So they got to be hiding oil live now?
Yeah, so he had to hide. So that's the bottom line of the whole thing. Because people have been saying this thing that the men need to come and say something, but we won't be having that discussion on Tuesday here. So yeah, let's wrap up.
Yeah, but so that's it, and I want to say thank you so much for being with us, and we hope you will be here next time. Alfonso Tele, share the show with your friend Nurse Faith, and Francis Mensah. You are not able to get on tonight, but you are watching anyway. You was following. The next one will be on Tuesday, but Paul is going to be on
the weekend.
On the weekend, Sunday. And Paul will be bringing you all of the much needed information. And whenever I have, normally I'm busy in the weekend, but whenever I have time, I will come on Paul's show, maybe your guest at least, and get things, going on as it should be. It was going to be here, and so we're going to take up our leave of you now, and have a nice day, Paul. See you. And on Tuesday, we're going to be here with a fresh edition of the program. All of our viewers, thanks for watching.